And I don't know when that's coming. And it can just happen at any given moment anyway. Okay, then what is there to be afraid of? Other than the ideas and the aspects of what people pump into your little noggin and make you scared of everything that birthed and produced you. You exist on the same planet that at one point in time produced colossal reptiles that hunted each other. And that same biology is inlaid in you as a being, as an organism. It's survival instinct. It's survival mechanism. I wish we didn't get so chemically pumped and flooded with these survival instincts and those turning our psyches into such a despotically destructive thing that we go around killing one another. But it's part of the game. It's part of the human experience. I see war as something very fucking, symbolically tied to nature. The idea of storms, hurricanes, volcanoes. It's an aspect of chaos. But there's order in the chaos. And at the same time, the order is entirely chaotic. It disturbs me. I don't wish death on other human beings because I value and know what it means to be human, and I value life. And I'm accepting of death. It's just going to happen. Does it make the story any less tragic? No. It makes it horrific. And at the same time, who am I to tell people how the story ought to go? Who's anybody to tell anyone how the story ought to go? It's for the individual to go through and decide. Maybe that's their path, maybe that's their journey, maybe that's their story. We can only help light a candle and hold a lantern up for people in this life. We can only act in a way that is kind of a guiding beacon forward and towards a better understanding of our nature and the nature of the world. And the reality is, nothing is going to survive on this world forever. So the big story of the world, perpetuating for what it is, at some point you realize it's all just a spectacle. It's all just a stage. It's a play. It's a theodrama. It's a cosmic space opera, is basically what the world is. And we, the species that we are, think like the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, or a cosmic clown, a cosmic jester. That's more innately what a human being is as a species we are. I would also implore you to consider, think, spiritual teachers like the Buddha, like Jesus, religious figures and icons of gods, Ra, Osiris, Shiva and Shakti, Krishna, any figure really. We embody different aspects of all those stories, and they coalesce and they kind of reflect through us, our character. We take on different aspects of the characters that have existed and come before us through human storytelling. There's always just a choice of what we embody. The spirit and reality is an entirely malleable thing. You can only witness and see how we fucked up nature as bad as we have to understand that. But it's all just playing in the primordial soup. The world itself builds its own sandcastles. That's the ironic thing. The world produced nature that's symbiotic with us. And we're like, yeah, I could use some renovation and improvements. And we made it what it is today. But even that, we're just playing the same game of nature. It's energy dancing through matter, playing a game through matter. In a lot of ways, in a lot of aspects, is there consequence to all this? I would be led to believe that whatever action we set into motion in the world and in this life and in this experience has repercussions. You know, things ripple through time and the elements. So, in a lot of essence, a lot of what we embody and the aspects of what we embody, they have a ripple effect through this experience that we call reality, or this experience that we call life and death, or this experience that we call eternity, whatever you want to call it. Source, God, it's all a play in motion. And that might make you feel small, but consequentially, you're a part of that entire experience. So to feel the totality of it, I've had my little experiences of sitting and just witnessing it all, staring up into the sky and, seeing the cosmos, looking at the sunset over the horizon of the ocean, sitting in deserts, looking at the colors painted on a canyon, having a friend visit me after years of not seeing them, just to interact with me and give me a kiss on the cheek, even though we're worlds apart. Life has many beautiful things. We just live in a superficial time period that distracts everything from the real innate nature and quality of what makes life meaningful, memorable. And what makes life meaningful and memorable, it's entirely up to you to really determine and weigh and measure that. But what you're going to find, regardless of what you think about life, is the smaller moments that oftentimes make the bigger impacts. It's the smaller things, the little details, the little innate, mundane qualities that make life beautiful. If you can't find appreciation in the structure of a flower, if you can't find it puzzling, that all of what the world and the universe and how our reality is can be chalked up to like looking at the structure of a tree and see that innate structure mirrored and reflected through how your body works and operates, and knowing and understanding you have a symbiotic relation to the organic plant matter that exists in this world that converts sunlight into energy, provides oxygen, absorbs the carbon dioxide we put out. It's a mutual back and forth. And you can't call that miraculous. You're probably lost in the sauce. But, all this is just going on and transpiring around you. And it's really just a field of velity. It's a field of phenomenon. The world itself, if you understood and looked at it from the aspect of it just being a really big garden for you to chillax in. That's it. Everything else going on is just superficial, storytelling. It's a big dumb story. And it's a big dumb story that causes a lot of suffering and pain and gets people killed. You don't have to participate in it. You're not obligated to. You're worried about the quality of your life dissipating and disappearing. Like, again, life's a big garden. Learn how to navigate the world as if it were a garden. Learn what exists on this planet that's of mutual benefit and use. I have this growing, budding fascination, and it's weird. I think it's a little bit of the shaman in me, or something like that. I've always felt a connection to like those old folk spiritual practices and things. I'd like to learn more about holistic medicine. I wanted to go back to school to do massage therapy while I was on hiatus from doing wrestling. I've been playing music lately, and I've been thinking my diet needs work. I could honestly use a break from smoking so much, even though I continue to do it. I need something to take my mind off all the media I've consumed. Maybe I should start studying how to use different plants and herbs, or identify different flora on this planet, and learn different practical survival skills and a litany of hobo techniques, just in case I need those in my lifetime. I always kind of wanted to just bum it out and live in a little shack near a beach, or somewhere, out in the mountains or the forests or something like that. I kind of liked that idea. So, thinking about what the future holds and the potential is when I really let go of everything I was thinking as far as how I thought my life would go. I'd still like to do those things, but I always keep it in the back of my mind, to be savvy and practical and adaptable to the world. So, reality is, we're just living on a big open game field in a lot of ways. It never helps to hinder yourself by thinking you have to cling to one result and conclusion of how life ought to be. Because in reality, who are any of us to assume how life ought to be? That leads you down the same path of what got us into this mess in the first place. Life goes, life flows. Life doesn't really need a whole lot of complication. It just needs understanding and an admiration for what it provides.